जय गजानन। गणेशाय नमस्तुभ्यं हेरम्बाय एकदन्तिने स्वानन्दवासिने तुभ्यं ब्रह्मणस्पतये नमः. With humble pranams to all Paramacharyas, Acharyas and Gurus, let us commence the discussion in today's session on the next chapter of the Yoga Sara, where Bhrigu Muni is asking Brahma about Jambhu dweepa. Bhrigu said, since ancient times, experts in Vedas consider Jambhu dweep to be the Karma Bhumi. O Padmasambhava, that is one who is born out of Padma, that is lotus. Please tell me everything about this continent. Brahma replies, in the middle of the ocean is the egg-shaped land of Jambhu dweepa, situated in the northern hemisphere. In the entire globe of the earth, this continent is one of the best among the 9 most famous ones. The northern side is enclosed by a mountain range, while in the south is the Deccan Peninsula. It is a land of fragrant grass and rubies dividing the Hiranyavarsha. In the previous part, you may remember that I had narrated to you about Bhumi Devi, Bharata, Kimpurusha and Harvarsha Havrata. You may remember that on the right side is the auspicious ocean of Ketu Malika. I shall tell you later about that, O Munishwara. Holding on the right hand, making a half head, and on the lower part of the top and a little to the left hand of the palm is the land of Kashi. That is, if you make a fist out of your right hand and you and on the lower part of the top and left hand palm, if you make it like this, that's the place of Kashi. In the upper neck portion, in the upper part of the neck region, the front facing portion is called the Ailavrit. On the chest region is the Harivarsha. The stomach is remembered as Bharatam. Standing in the central part of the region is that of Kimpurusha. The region beginning from the left shoulder and ending with the left foot is called Bhadrashva. From the right side hip region up to the foot is the Ketumalaka. The hair-like region, like a crown on the head, is the region of Ramanak. The hip region on the back, including the knee and the upper chest, is the region of the Kuru kingdom. In the upper half of the Hiranyavarsha are the 2 Brihad dweep each of which is as big as a region. Shura Padma, the Danavendra, lived to the south of Bhadrashva. With the orders of Skanda, that island in the ocean belonged to the Danavas. Wherever the wicked lived, they ate flesh, and so in Bhadrashva they were in the form of islands. There were other regions as well as sequentially, all of them consisting of the land region divided into 5 parts. The regions suitable for penance were the mountains and forests where the Munis lived. It was also the place for enjoyment of gods in the days when gods lived on earth, or when they moved freely between heaven and earth. Gandharvas, Devas and man who followed the Varnashrama Dharma were given land suitable for doing karma, for living happily. The region for enjoyment of karmas was a place of enjoyment for people on earth. This was used by men, Gandharvas and everyone else before them. Varnashrama Dharma got destroyed during the reign of Nrupa. Gandharvas in the beginning were endowed with divine powers. Munis had yogic powers given to them by way of boons. Understanding the plight of human beings, he took birth as a human being, that is Ganeshwara. Ganeshwara, who is beyond description, became manifest out of his own will and stood before man in a visible form. The sinful people and the wicked people were killed. Men and Gandharvas once again began to inhabit the earth as before. The three classes of beings were Acharyas, that is human beings, were Acharyas, Munis, then Danavas, Rakshasas, and the Devas. So, three classes of beings, Acharyas and Munis, that was in the Krita Yuga. Remember, the first Satya Yuga, all were Acharyas and Munis. Then, or at least the learned, or all were 100% truthful. Then there was Danavas and Rakshasas and the Devas. From Kruta, Treta, Dwapara to Kali Yuga, all of them have ruled the earth in some position or the other. That is, the Acharyas and Munis or the human beings have ruled, Danavas and Rakshasas have also ruled the earth, and Devas have also ruled the earth in some part of the Yugas. Munis brought man under control according to their nature. Each one tried to uplift their own kind, and living here they tried to enjoy themselves. Even in other periods of time, Munis, Devaganas and men have always helped each other in enjoying their life when they lived here on earth. Those who were born as Devaganas were gods, while the Danavas were Rakshasas, and they included ghosts, goblins and other bodied beings. The human beings, ghosts and goblins, Daityas and Rakshasas are subject to death. Means these categories are subject to death. All of them are eager to come to earth for enjoyment or pleasures. In the absence of Varnashrama Dharma, when there is Pashanda Marga and Anarya, they cause cruelty to mortals. In Kali Yuga, this cruelty to mortals becomes very vigorous or very serious. The self-conceited individuals will also be assisted during Kali Yuga. Means they get preference. Means the times are favorable for these evil people. Observing Varnashrama Dharma and imbibing them as his own, man uplifted his own clan and lived enjoying all the pleasures. The Munis had no death. They would go back to Tapoloka and had a divine language. The Ganas of the gods naturally they came along with their own assistants who are known as Ganas. They were godly species. They had separate and independent languages also. Even though they resided on earth, there are about 18 of them. During the Kruta, Treta and Dwapara Yugas, the first three yugas, the wicked people vanquished human beings. The islands in the oceans contained sandy soil and were not suitable for residing or for any occupation. So Nrupa, that was a king at that time who ruled the entire Jambhu dweepa, placed the wicked and filthy men in places where the residents were small in number. The dealings and actions of such people were also base. They had separate and individual language which became indistinct with change of kalpas. With the passage of time, the language also underwent change. During the period of Vyasa's incarnation, that is during the Dwapara Yuga, there were 100 indistinct languages of Mlechas, and more new ones were taking birth. New languages or dialects were being formed. The original language was destroyed, and these indistinct languages became the Girvana language. Girvana language is the language of the gods. Girvana language was the language of gods which was brought down to people, and then here it became the Sanskrit language. Sanskrit was becoming difficult to speak, and so the language of gods were converted into the Prakrit language, which is prevalent today, which is what we call as Hindi today. Women were also allowed to speak according to their respective Varnashrama Dharma. In this way, the language of the gods, namely Sanskrit, became Prakrit language. They took shape. Shape in two forms, namely Vedas and Shastras. In Vedas and Shastras, although the Vedas and Shastras are in Sanskrit language, when they were converted into the Prakriti, the lipi was the same. The alphabets were the same. Although it was changed, the meaning, etc., got changed according to the local understanding of the people. There were 17 such languages of Ganas which were born of the godly species. The shadow of the Girvana language got established on earth for enjoyment of the people residing here, which took shape in various forms. This was during when the gods were inhabiting the earth. All of them were followers of Vedic path, no doubt. The 64 doctrines which we saw in the last session, and philosophies provided enlightenment of the Supreme. They all formed part of those two samhitas that which we saw. They were then later on they were conveyed through books in Girvana language narrated by the Munis. Now, at this point of time, let us also briefly look into how the time or yugas are classified. That is, there is a Chatur Yuga which consists of 43,20,000 years in a cosmic cycle. In a cosmic cycle, it consists of there is a Brahma for every cosmic cycle. Let us take that. Now, one kalpa is one daytime of Brahma, and so one day and one night together make one day for Brahma. So 360 such days becomes 1 year of Brahma, and Brahma lives for 100 years. So this whole time of 100 years of Brahma's lifetime is the time period when this cosmos will exist. Okay, let us be clear about that. So then, but there will be minor annihilations, pralaya and all will happen, but the major destruction will happen after 100 years of Brahma's lifetime. Brahma's lifetime is 100 years, which means, and each 1 year is 360 days, and each 360 days means one kalpa. One kalpa is what? One kalpa consists of one Chatur Yuga. What Chatur Yuga is 43,20,000 years. 43,20,000 years, out of which Kruta Yuga is 17,20,000 years. Treta Yuga is 12,96,000 years. Dwapar Yuga is 8,64,000 years. And Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. So, in a cosmic cycle, there is Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. So, in that period of time, 17,20,000 years of Kruta Yuga is over. Treta Yuga is 12,96,000 years. Dwapar Yuga is 8,64,000 years, 4,32,000 years. Out of Treta Yuga, we are some portion of Treta Yuga of the cosmic cycle is also over. That is why Brahma is at present 51 years old. So we have a little portion of Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga in the lifetime of Brahma remaining. At some point after the completion of Kruta Yuga of 17,28,000 years, when Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga were remaining, in the initial portion of Treta Yuga, that is where truth is predominant but is not 100%. So the dilution starts happening after completion of one yuga. So when it was say 95, 80, some deterioration started happening. Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga were combined together, and a smaller Chatur Yuga cycles was calculated in that period of time. So that is why now we have this Chatur Yugas of 12,000 years, where Satya Yuga, that is Kruta Yuga, is 4,800 years, Treta Yuga is 3,600 years, Dwapar Yuga is 2,400 years, and Kali Yuga is 1,200 years. So this 12,000 year period of time is one smaller yuga, is one Chatur Yuga, which is used in the present day calculation. So accordingly, we have 71 to 72 Chatur Yugas in one Kalpa. Okay, and in one Kalpa is one daytime of Brahma. So 2 Kalpas make 1 day and night. 360 days of such becomes 1 year, and 100 years of lifetime is one Brahma's lifetime. And in one Kalpa, there are 14 Manvantaras. Manvantaras means a certain where the Manu keeps changing, a new creation happens. So a Manvantara is a period of 306.72 million years, while a Yuga Sandhi, that's a gap between Chatur Yuga, between one Yuga and another in a Chatur Yuga, is a gap. That is a period of 4 million years. 4 million means 40 lakhs years. So hence a Manvantara is actually 311 million years in totality, and there are 14 Manvantaras in one Kalpa. So you have 71 to 72 Chatur Yugas are there in a period of one Manvantara. So if we have 71 to 72 and 72 in the sense that it may not, that is, it is 994. So so if we round, instead of rounding out to 1000, so that will be 994, and small transition period in between. So there will be so many Chatur Yugas in one Manvantara. So if you take, there are 14 Manvantaras in one Kalpa. So there will be 994 Chatur Yugas. If we take 72, then there will be 1008 Chatur Yugas in one Kalpa. So in an average, if you take, we have 1000 Chatur Yugas in a Kalpa. Okay. So in a Kalpa, there are 1000 Chatur Yugas. So at present, Brahma is 51 years old, and we are in the 7th Manvantara. So out of the 14 Manvantaras, 7 are over, 6 are over. We are in the 7th one, and we are in the 28th Kali Yuga of Chatur Yuga. Chatur Yuga of 12,000 years. So we are in the 28th Kali Yuga. And then it will be 5,170. Okay, we'll come to that. We have so 1000 Chatur Yugas are taken in. So Brahma is 51 years old right now, and we are in the 7th Manvantara called Vaivasvata Manvantara, and 28th Kali Yuga of the Chatur Yuga. In Kruta Yuga, man uses 100% of his mind, means 100% of his mental capacity, that is entire. That's why it's a period of Satya or truth. In Treta Yuga, that gets diluted because Rajasic Guna becomes, some portion of the mind is utilized by Rajasic Guna. So 3/4 of his mind is Sattvic. In Dwapar Yuga, it becomes half-half. That is, Rajasic becomes more predominant, equal to Sattva Guna, and a little bit of Tamasi Guna also gets added. In Kali Yuga, he uses only 1/4 of the mind. So 3/4 of the mind, or the mental capacity, or his qualities, gunas and everything, are of Rajasic and Tamasic in nature. So in this Chatur Yuga cycle, it is we have the ascending Kali Yuga because from nothingness, from ignorance state, things start manifesting. So we have ascending Kali Yuga, then ascending Dwapar Yuga, ascending Treta Yuga, ascending Satya Yuga. Then we have the descending Satya Yuga, descending Treta Yuga, descending Dwapar Yuga, and descending into Kali Yuga. So at present, the cosmos is in descending Kali Yuga, and while the solar is in ascending Dwapar Yuga. So cosmic yuga or cycle is 86 crores 40 lakh years, of which 43 lakh 20,000 years are a day of Brahma, 43 lakh 20,000 years are a night of Brahma. So in his life of 100 years, the solar yuga cycle is 24,000 years, of which 12,000 is ascending, 12,000 is descending. And so we are in the 7th Manvantara called the Vaivasvata Manvantara. The 6th Manvantara was Chakshusha Manvantara, after which there was a pralay for 420 years. There was a pralay or the flood that corresponds to, if I am not wrong, it was corresponds to that period when Noah's Ark and the which appears in our Jews book of the Torah. There you will find some portion where this 420 years they were wandering, or there was a flood, and then the Noah's Ark and all happened. It was corresponding to that. So that's 6th Manvantara. So at the beginning of Vaivasvata Manvantara, Devas performed a yajna and Narayana incarnated as a partial incarnations. So during Pralaya, when there is flood, this Narayana sleeps or lies in his Vaikuntha. So at that time, 2 drops of tears from his eyes created the 2 Daityas, or the Madhu and Kaitapa. They took away the Vedas from Brahma, and so Vishnu incarnated as a fish and killed them and restored the Vedas to Brahma. From the Meda or fat of Madhu and Kaitapa, Narayana restored the earth known as Medini. This is the immediate preceding in the 6th Manvantara we are talking about. So right now we are in the 5117th year of the 28th Chaturyuga. In Chaturyuga there are 12,000 years. So we are in the 28th Kali Yuga, but in that Kali Yuga we are in the 5117th year. So if you would have heard our Vedic Pandits chanting, they will mention this year, the particular Manvantara Kali Yuga, this which Varsha in Bharata Varsha, where that Yajna or Yaga is performed. Everything is announced before performing that particular Yajna or Yaga. So this is how the time period or the cycle of Kala in this universe takes place. We shall continue how in the next session about where the question which was asked was about when did this Daityas or the Rakshasas or the evil beings take birth on this earth, in which yuga, and when did they come about? So this interesting question we will answer in the next session. Jai Gajana.